Hello everybody, and welcome to how I styled my cat noir, whatever, wig. So I kind of started this one out a little past the very beginning, and the reason for that is because I take forever to get started, so there's really no point in showing it. But you can see here that I am dividing out all the areas and how I intend to spike them. I cannot just start with the wig and just go straight into determining where the spikes should be. I tend to place them wrong and estimate their lengths wrong. I'm a very visual person, and so I kind of have to predetermine where everything's going to go. So he's got about 3 rows of spikes, and so I figured I would start with those. So I start off with the front because that always gives me a good idea of where to put the rest of the spikes kind of accordingly. I use Got To Be Glued hairsprays, or I guess it's freezing spray, it's not actually hairspray. And I go between my, I don't even remember what they're called, my normal hair cutting scissors and my thinning shears, that's what it is, which I just got a pair a couple months ago. Not a couple months ago, jeez. Sorry, this month has been like, well, it's May. Okay, let me start that over. The last couple of months have been a totally unique time for me as far as work stuff goes, and I have had way too much time on my hands. So I'm going to mess up dates and how long I've been doing things. I can already see it now. But anyways, I've had these scissors a couple of weeks, maybe a month, and they work wonders. I've started using them regularly. They make it so much easier to make it look natural. But anyways, back to the wig stuff. So the very top spikes, I wanted to give some volume because Chat Noir has very fluffy hair, and I noticed that a lot of cosplayers tend to not have it be that fluffy or the spikes that crazy. It looks good, the ones who go for more of like a natural kind of spike look. I wanted to kind of go in the opposite direction and see how big and fluffy I could make it. Style the side bits. So ideally, when you're styling a wig like this, you will want to take it off the wig head often and check the spikes or any part of it that specifically has to be a certain length per your head. I took the measurements for the bangs before I started cutting into it too much on my boyfriend's head, because it's for him, because he puts up with me and joins me on my my crazy projects. But you definitely want to get a good measurement for how long your bangs need to be, as well as that little side hair that's kind of meant to be along your jawline. My cat always wants to help me out to the point of knocking everything over, so that's his little bit in this video. Also, make sure when you're doing this that you have some reference imagery that you can just stare at the entire time, because you don't want to, mess anything up, because it's never going to grow back. This is all you've got. My desktop computer is actually an all-in-one, so it can go anywhere. The battery for it lasts about 2 hours, but I usually just plug it back in. It's basically a giant tablet, but that's what I usually have all my pictures on, and I just go between them. And there's no shame if, say, you make your predetermined spikes and you decide you want a couple littler spikes somewhere in there. I do it a couple of times. There's just an area or two where I just want to, give it a more full look, so I just put a couple more in instead of just one giant spike. Thin it down. So the goal is for it to be a nice pointy triangle. You know, you don't want to just have it pointing down because it's got to kind of flip out, you know. And give the back some volume with some teasing. Do not underestimate the power of teasing. It will do wonders. Also, while you're using Got to Be Glued freeze spray, keep in mind that anything that may be within its range of spray is going to get a layer of it on everything, and my desktop actually still has some on it on the screen, and it's really annoying, but I keep forgetting to clean it off. Just water or like a wet paper towel or however you want to clean any kind of electronics specifically. Definitely don't leave your phone just sitting there because you're texting people while you work, because it's really annoying to get it off of phones. Goodbye, cat. So in the beginning stages, when I'm first kind of, you know, getting my spikes situated, I'm not going to worry a whole incredible lot about whether or not it's falling apart or staying together all the way, because this is still kind of like a pre-planning area, and there's still the chance that depending on whether or not I like how the spike looked, I might end up undoing it with water and, you know, trying again a second time. And, you know, once you do it on one side, you start doing it on the other side. Definitely compare your left and right sides to make sure the spikes are about the same length on each side. I ended up skipping a lot of the video just because it was, I think I worked on this for about 3 hours, but here's what it looks like with the left and right sides both completed for the most part. What I always do to make sure my spikes don't start coming apart, like the one you can see on the bottom left, I take some clear tacky glue and I just put it on my fingers and put on the spikes and kind of like twist them together. That kind of helps set the glue, and that way I never really have to worry about it. And, you know, if you do end up having to redo a spike later on, you can carefully comb through your spikes with a fine-tooth comb and kind of work out that tacky glue, because, I mean, it works, and I've definitely restyled the pit wig a couple of times and had to do that, so it's not a permanent thing. The very bottom layer of the hair was a bit more complicated because I couldn't just kind of merge it with the third layer of spikes. It was a bit too long for that, so rather than try to force it into spikes that wouldn't necessarily look very natural, I decided to just kind of trim it short and leave it down. So here is the finished wig that I'm rotating. I put a couple of clips on the end of the spikes that were giving me problems. And that is how I styled my Chat Noir, minus any at-con alterations. Yay!